Okay, we'll move on to topic 3, which is going to be ProduceCast 10.5?
Yes.
Question mark?
Yeah, this is ProduceCast episode 10.5. Hello, everyone listening to ProduceCast and are confused. I didn't want to give this a full number in terms of episodes because that's probably going to go to when we do our review of the first couple of Produce X 101 episodes, but we just kind of got some like breaking news or just this sort of breaking story the past week regarding Yun SeoBin of JYP, who is now formally a contestant on Produce X 101 in regards to his controversy and his subsequent removal from the show. So before we go into that, to preface this, I'll try to avoid spoiling as much of Produce X 101 as possible. Because I haven't seen it yet, because I haven't seen episode 1 yet, because I don't know if the subs are up yet. So I'll just try to avoid from divulging too much in spoilers out of courtesy for people that might just be looking into the story or might just be trying to get more information out of this or wanted to hear our opinions without, I guess, divulging too much into like the weeds of the actual episode. So that being said, we'll get into the story. This story broke. What?
I want to bring up something that's hilarious to me, and that's actually funny. If you want to read the article, I just Googled it before we started, and there's an E! Online article about this.
Yes, there's an E! Online,
and it's actually it's the best article because they waited for all the information to come out. So it basically compiles the like 4 Soompi articles that came out.
Yeah, I just took it from Soompi in terms of just breaking it down.
This basically has just compiled all 4 of those into one big article, which was funny to me.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, E and like Billboard, they cover a lot of K-pop news nowadays, so that's not surprising.
I didn't know E did. Billboard I knew.
I mean,
but
there's
only.
I mean, E, they can only cover so much like American music these days, so they got to delve into K-pop. Anyway, into the actual story. So, Yun SeoBin is the lone trainee of JYP sent to Produce X 101. It's the first time JYP has sent a trainee to a Produce show since season 1 with Jun Somi, who has yet to debut or is debuting soon under YG the Black Label. So take that for what you will. So there was a lot of hype surrounding him and JYP returning to the fold of Produce X 101, and just the name recognition of JYP alone could probably have landed him in the final group. Almost certainly, just because, again, name recognition is a really big thing when it comes to these survival shows. So on May 6th, according to this timestamp on Soompi, a story broke regarding Yun SeoBin, whose original name was Yun Byung-hui, according to the article. So news started circulating that he back in his middle school days, back home in Gwangju, he was accused of being a bully and just like being really rude and just like mean to people and that sort of thing. Also, rumors sort of surfaced, or rumored photos of him surfaced that showed someone matching his name or description surrounded by like bottles of alcohol or pictures of him smoking, and at this time he was still a student, so obviously underage. So that story broke, and it only took about a day for JYP to terminate the contract, which is pretty a lot more speedy than we're used to in terms of K-pop controversy or breaking stories.
Yeah,
they usually let it stew a bit, but
yeah, but I mean this like directly like the illegal activities, like you're just gonna cut them. Like underage drinking is not something to be taken lightly when it comes to someone in the public eye or whatever, especially in such a like conservative country as Korea.
Yeah. So JYP terminates his contract. They say, according to the article, it says, quote, after determining that the policies of JYP Entertainment are not being followed, we have decided to terminate the contract of trainee Yun SeoBin, who is currently appearing on Mnet's Produce X101. As a result, he will also be leaving the program. Mnet also commented stating that they'll try to edit him as much as possible out of the Produce X101 footage, which is kind of hard because episode 1, like, again, I'm trying not to spoil this episode as much as possible, but he got the one seat. Or he fought for the one seat. Yeah, supposedly there's a one seat curse now, like where like bad things happen to you if you get the one seat. I don't know. I don't know. In general, I just think the whole like, oh my god, who's gonna get the one seat thing is so stupid because it's not like it really matters.
It doesn't matter at all. Yeah,
it has no bearing. Yeah, it has no bearing on the long term competition.
Anything, yeah.
They just need something to like drum up controversy for the first sort of episodes.
It gets you screen time.
Yeah, so, that's the only reason why people do it is because if you fight for the one seat, you're guaranteed to get screen time. But I mean, I don't know, just
exactly.
Again, like Asian culture is in such a way that like they're mostly about like how you can sort of preserve harmony among various different parties, and the concept of having people fight over seats is like the total antithesis to that. So I feel kind of bad when they have to do that, because I'm sure nobody wants to be the asshole that like steals the one seat, but they want the screen time to do well. So it's just a really like weird position that they find themselves in. Apparently his evaluation performance was not yet aired on the first episode. It probably would have gone up because the second episode aired yesterday.
Second episode's out, yeah.
So they probably edited it out. They probably So that's just like a stroke of good luck on Mnet's part that it wasn't aired. And I mean, obviously being JYP, they usually save the big name trainees for the second episode. Like they usually tease a lot. So yeah, it's crazy how much they're gonna have to retcon or just like try to like filter out of his existence on the show.
It's always funny to me when like this happens, because this happened in previous seasons.
Yeah,
and like how awkward the editing is when those people are around.
They just blur them.
Sometimes
out.
they'll just blur their face or because they try to cut around them, but sometimes they're just in the background.
Yeah, it's not possible.
They're part of an important scene that's not possible. They literally just blur their face. It's so funny to me.
Yeah,
it's like everyone knows who that is. Like, what do you like? Just show them. Who cares? Like.
Yeah, there's like 100 other voices.
Sure, I understand cutting around his parts, so like he doesn't actually get like notoriety. But like if he's just sitting in the background, like you don't need to blur his face.
Yeah,
it's so funny to me.
Like a day later on his Instagram, he wrote an apology, sort of letter type thing. I'll read it out. The translation is provided by Soompi. It says, quote, I don't know where to start. First, I'm writing this to apologize to everyone who supported me and everyone who has been affected by my actions. When I was in school, I was very immature and didn't know much about the world. All the things I shouldn't have done as a minor, like drinking, smoking, and other things I'm not proud of, and my dreams. I was so scared every day. I felt that I was running towards the edge of a cliff, and I was plagued with fear and worry. But I've never tried to hide my past or deceive others because of fear, and I never hid it from my agency I was a part of either. As a result of these recent events, I've looked back and tried to recall memories of my actions and from my past, and I've thought a lot about if there's anyone else who I brought discomfort to. Even if nothing exists in my records or my memory is just the fact that the controversy happened means that someone has a difficult time because of me. If there's anyone for whom that is the case, I sincerely apologize. Rather than wanting forgiveness, I'm just so sorry to everyone who had a difficult time because of me, to my agency, to the producers of the program, and to everyone that I had trained with. I'm sorry. So this throws a huge wrench in both, I guess, Produce X101's plans, because I'm sure they're, again, we've said this on previous seasons, Produce or Mnet likes to groom certain people, and I'm sure having JYP back in the fold, he was one of those options.
Yeah,
and this definitely sort of throws a wrench in JYP's future boy group plans because, obviously you don't show up on Produce X101 for nothing. Usually they do it, one, for exposure, and two, to build up hype for whatever group that you're going to debut in or you're going to be a part of. So that definitely throws a wrench in it because this guy's probably going to be like the leader of that new boy group or something.
He was.
So he was going to be the leader of the boy group, and now that's sort of just gone by the wayside. So I guess just what are your thoughts on both the controversy, both how it affects JYP as a company and like their future plans? So go ahead.
Yeah. Well, first of all, I think his apology is BS because I like how he says that he never hid it from his agency. You're telling me JYP doesn't ask their potential trainees, hey, do you have any dark past that we should know about? And he was just like, oh yeah, I used to underage drink and smoke. And they're like, oh, that's fine. So no, you didn't. Sure, maybe you didn't specifically like try to hide everything, but if you didn't tell them that, like, you hid it from them. Because there's no way they didn't ask about it. I'm honestly surprised in general that like there is, and I think Mnet even said that today or something, like that there isn't better screening at this point of like trainees, for at least for big companies. Like I'm sure JYP is gonna start like trying to dig a little bit further into their trainees like pasts and find stuff like this before it. Yeah, because this is like a big hit on their
it's a black mark reputation, on like them as a company. I mean, it's probably not going to affect them too much in the long run, just because they're too much of a monster. But it doesn't, in the long run, it doesn't really affect them that much. But just the fact that it happened just looks bad. And I'm honestly surprised it happened because I figured there would be much more strict about it happens a lot with smaller companies, and that's understandable. They don't have the resources to like do these background checks and stuff. But I figured like a company like JYP would have like quadruple checked the like pasts of these trainees, at least the ones that are maybe not just the trainees that are just sitting in JYP like training, but like if they're about to debut or they're going on a show like if
Produce,
they're going to be in any public, if they're going to represent the company in public, you should probably look into a lot of this stuff beforehand.
Yeah, so I was surprised it happened in general. But yeah, in the long run, I don't think it affects JYP or Produce. Produce it affects just because of the editing and like you said, they were definitely gonna try to groom him to be like one of the top trainees or whatever, and probably make it into the group. Like he had a pretty good chance of getting into the group. Just being from JYP. And assuming his skills weren't complete garbage, but he was in JYP, so I don't think they were. But yeah, kids do dumb stuff, but like I think you gotta realize in this day and age, like if you're gonna be someone in the public eye, like if you want to be an idol, you can't have done that ever.
All that stuff's
like
gonna come to the forefront. Unfortunately,
all that stuff's gonna come to the forefront and ruin you. Like that's just, if you've taken a bunch of pictures smoking and drinking when you're underage, you just can't be an idol. You should, like, you just can't. It's not possible. Someone's gonna bring it up. So like I don't like. He should have known this was gonna happen. And it sucks because like sure, his dream was to be an idol, but you shouldn't have done that stupid stuff if you wanted to be an idol. Like,
I mean, I don't know, maybe it's just because like it's a lot more public facing just because it's idols, but I mean there definitely seems to be a strong like there definitely seems to be a lot of these kind of stories coming out of not just Korea, just coming like out of Japan as well, maybe a bit. But I don't know, maybe it says something about the type of person that wants the fame and the fortune of being an idol, that a lot of them, despite what companies either like sort of like the personality that they assign to you or what the PR person tries to groom you as, a lot. That's the truth of the matter. A lot of the time, like the people that become idols, they're not always the nicest of people, unfortunately, despite whatever face they might put forward. I do have a bit of like I do kind of feel bad for the kid because I mean you're a kid.
I feel bad for him. Like,
you do stupid shit. Like I mean, I guess in all honesty, just I'd say the underage smoking and drinking probably isn't as big of a deal, at least to me, just because I don't know, just that happens. Yeah, that happens all the time. Like literally, like
I was gonna say like 95% of kids
have tried smoking or tried
before
drinking. I mean, considering just how much of the Korean population drinks, aka everyone, and how much of the Korean population smokes, almost everyone. Like it's a normal, just fact of life at this point. I mean, I know they do take that very seriously because obviously they don't want, like, it's definitely a very controversial thing, and they don't want, or it reflects poorly upon your parents if they're just letting you do that stuff. They do. I do agree. If again, the bullying thing is definitely kind of just like a bit muddy, is in terms of like the.
Because some people denied it. Like some of his classmates have denied that part of it. So like, that might just be people, because that's the other thing. There's always people out there, like kids that didn't like you in school or whatever,
and they'll just say you're a bully.
Idols.
Like what happened.
Like, say you're a bully or
like
whatever. Like that happens all the time.
Or you can get something like what happened with Dongho from New West, where a family friend accused him of sexually assaulting her.
Or Jisoo from Lovelyz, who had that whole controversy for like a year and a half right after they debuted, and she like didn't do anything in Lovelyz because that one girl accused her of like abusing her sexually or whatever. Like
there's
all that stuff happens.
As an idol, like you do definitely if you made your fair share of enemies growing up, they're definitely gonna try to like take that out from under you. So I'd say the bullying side of it is definitely subject to question at this point, but Korea as a society,
smoking and drinking was there were pictures, like there was evidence of that. You're fucked on that. We know that happened.
But I mean, just Korea as a society takes accusations of bullying very seriously. Because the severity of it tends to escalate to points where like the Korea has a really bad suicide rate, especially among young people. So that's why any like even like the slightest hint of like a bullying rumors just get exacerbated, especially among idols. I mean, what he might have done as a kid might not be like the worst thing necessarily compared to like what other people have done as idols and still managed to have idol careers. But it still is a good idea to remove him from the show and remove him from JYP because again, it's something that it brings bad light to the company. So regardless of severity or necessarily like authenticity of it, even just it's bad for business ultimately. So they have no choice. Their hands are tied essentially.
It directly broke like JYP's like contract obligations and stuff. So like,
you get that most like forward facing public figure sort of contracts or obligations, there are like morality clauses built into that, like because you ultimately you as a human being represent such and such company. So like everything you do is you're acting on behalf of your company, whether it be the style of hair you wear, if you have tattoos, whether you're caught like doing bad stuff in public or whatever. All of that ultimately reflects on your employer, because again, you are the job that you're entitled the job that you're like sort of given is like you're supposed to be an idol, you're supposed to be someone in the like your public life essentially is your job. So that's the sort of like high standard that you're supposed to be kept to. That as much as you want idols to have a private life, obviously like it's impossible with how crazy like tabloids are and everything. Like that is like the ultimate truth of it, where like again your actions do reflect on your company, and to some degree that's every job, where like if you say some stupid shit on like Facebook or something and it blows up, or if you're like remember that ice cream or that guy that went through the Chick-fil-A drive through just berating this poor minimum wage worker about how the company she works for is horrible and they hate gay people.
Really?
This is just
I missed that.
This dude was this like big shot, like I don't know, like I don't know if he sold like insurance or like just like really big shot like business guy. He recorded himself like going through like the drive through of a Chick-fil-A Chick-fil-A berating the employee, and thought it was a good idea to upload that to
post it.
like like social media is like, oh, I showed, like, it's like one of those like it's like I destroy this homophobic or whatever type thing.
It's like
he loses his job and his wife gets a divorce from him just because he was a huge idiot, and like he just like super embarrassing and super childish, like petty, like stuff. Like, what is this like poor like minimum wage worker gonna do about like the company she works for or whatever?
Exactly.
Like it's stuff like that basically. Like it really, you don't need to be an idol essentially to just sort of have that sort of personal responsibility with how you deal with yourself in public. I mean, to some degree, we're like, I don't think my employer is ever going to find our stuff, but I mean, like we have to like maintain a certain like face or prestige when we go on camera, because I don't want to put anything on here that would potentially embarrass an employer or potentially like put them in a tough spot, like that sort of thing. So I understand his plight, but it probably still was a good idea to sort of go through with this in the end. And he probably deserves a second chance somewhere else. I mean, like, that's probably, you know what? This is probably going to be a really big thing. Mnet's probably going to have another, like, maybe not a Produce show, but they're probably going to make like a male version of Idol School, and he's going to show up on it, and they're going to play up the whole redemption storyline, because it makes good TV. So they're definitely thinking about that. Like, this is it's all publicity at the end, whether it's good or bad.
Yeah.
So,
I don't know.
I mean, any closing thoughts besides what you've divulged already, or?
No, I did want to bring up, I don't know, this is kind of developing, but there was another train. Let me go into Discord because they were talking about it yesterday. So I got to find it. Give me a couple of seconds. But there was basically another member who's like, nothing's official, but like fandoms are like, basically canceling him, because I know people like saying they're canceling.
I hate that. I fucking hate that word.
But basically I don't know. So this guy is apparently, so here is a list of things. It's Park Yuri from Produce X 101. But apparently, like, people keep comparing him to Bobby. And then he like is blocking those people, and like he liked a comment that called Bobby ugly.
Why?
But
it's so petty.
Apparently, I know. And then apparently, while he was singing another song, he said the N-word. And then all of it, the fans that were telling him that was wrong and he shouldn't do that, he was blocking. So he was refusing to apologize. And apparently he's just like super narcissistic and like encourages drinking, and stuff like that. Just like sounds like a mess of a person.
No, I'm looking at the pictures. He's got like some Johnny Walker shit, like just like on like freaking like Insta story, like not even like trying to hide. Asked
so
how the hell do you get? Oh, he was asking like
it was a Q&A.
It was a Q&A thing. It's like, how the hell do I get your flawless skin? Let's go over your secret, my secret weapon, alcohol. Doesn't alcohol fuck up your skin?
Johnny Walker. Yeah, it does.
I don't know.
But then apparently he was like saying the N-word and ignored it. He says his ex-university classmate, she was a foreigner, not Korean, saying he was very arrogant and narcissistic in a bad way. Seems like his attitude issue has not reached K-fans yet. It's more among international fans for now. So seems like he's just got a douchey personality. Oops. And international fans are not a fan of him right now. So we'll see if any of that comes out.
We'll see if any of that comes to light. But I mean,
I don't know if it'll actually matter, but they were just talking about it in our
But I mean, man,
Discord
why is it with the boy group
channel?
seasons that they just like the worst stuff comes out about it? Because like we had a lot of this coming out of Produce, like Produce 101, like season 2. Like that's why like Park Ji-hoon came in with like 3 or 4 people like as trainees, and one of them just had to fucking leave the company because of like a huge controversy, and everyone else just like quit the idol industry basically. So it's just like a lot of this. Can we go back to Produce 48 where everyone like I should know.
I was gonna say stan girl group, stan female idols.
Yeah, they don't do bullying things.
They're much more wholesome for the most part.
Well, I mean, hopefully, but hopefully. I guess that does it for our thoughts on this. What are your so we'll leave the question to you as Philly D says. What are your thoughts on the whole Yun SeoBin controversy? Was it right to remove him, or just erase his existence from the show? Was it right for JYP to remove his contract? Do you think he deserves a second chance as an idol? Definitely let us know your thoughts. This is a discussion, so let us know your thoughts in the comments below.
Yep.
If we manage to get a KCON panel at KCON New York, I'm going to ask my dance teacher friend, DJ, to teach me the choreography to Jima, and I will perform it at our KCON panel. So if you want to see me do the choreography for this, tweet at KCON. Let them know that you want to see a ProduceCast panel at KCON New York.